Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Gordhead.
I'm ready. This is the Board Game Snobs.
Okay.
This is Jerry, the star of the show,
This
Board
is
Game
Gabby,
Snobs. Follow us
primary
on
host.
Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. And send us an email at boardgamesnobs.
This is Gabby, the primary host upon which the parasite Jerry feasts.
I like the word feast.
Feast.
Have you ever feasted?
Every day.
No.
That's my problem.
No, I know you eat a lot. But I mean, have you ever been to a feast? I didn't mean to sound like you eat a lot, but you do eat a lot.
What do you mean, like with Odin?
No, I'm talking about like a legit feast. Like you went somewhere and somebody fed you a cornucopia of various, I said that really weird, of various food products and or regular food.
Like a buffet?
Yeah.
Golden Corral?
No, oh, God. Nobody wants to eat. I wonder if our foreign listeners know about Golden Corral.
It's a place where you can go, you pay money, and they have
Of course.
several bars.
There is an exchange of goods.
And you can literally eat as much as you want.
Yes, they have multiple
Macaroni and cheese, corn,
buffets.
French fries.
And you go to whatever area for which you please, and you fill their plate full of mediocre Southern food, and you eat it.
Or meaty okra.
Meaty okra?
I love some okra.
I don't know if they know what okra is.
Fried okra?
Okra is a weed for which we consume here in the South.
Really?
Yeah, it's a weed, isn't it? It likes heat.
I don't know, but it's good.
That's why.
That's some good weed.
It is. That's why in Christopher Nolan's show, what was that called? Interstellar? That's all they grew was okra. Corn and okra.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they grew corn and okra because of the global warming.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
That's all we're going to be eating soon.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
Coloma's a terrible game. If that's all that we have to grow, we might as well just give it up. Oh, don't spoil our review of Coloma.
No.
We don't like it.
Did you know
I do. Go.
Scientists made music especially for cats?
Wait a minute. No, just music for cats.
Music.
Not the
for
musical cats.
Not Cats the musical.
But music to tickle the ears of our feline friends.
Yes. Cats apparently appreciate music as much as we do. But please sip your coffee louder into the microphone. It always goes over
Some
well.
of the bands include U5.
But
I'm thinking of others. Give me a second.
I heard it's the cat's meow.
No, other bands regarding cats. I can't think of any right now. Keep going.
It's on the spot.
Keep going. It's on the spot. I'll think of other. Throughout the podcast, I will just yell out band names that involve cats.
Okay.
Keep going.
But cats apparently appreciate music as much as we do, but they don't necessarily like the same tunes as humans. So some scientists from the University of Wisconsin and the University of Maryland worked together to compose cat-centric music. That makes me happy. You are really thinking hard about some cat names.
I'm very disappointed that I've not been able to think of any cat-based bands.
Well,
Send us an email, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com, if you can think of any feline-based groups.
Feline-based.
Yes.
Felina.
Not Josie and the Pussycats either.
Josie
I'm talking
and the
about
Pussycats.
legit.
Hey, she was legit.
No, keep going. Nobody knows what Josie and the Pussycats are.
Crows can recognize individual human faces
Yes, they can.
and hold grudges.
And a group of crows is called a murder.
The crows were calling his name, thought Caw.
That joke never gets old. I'm sorry.
That's a little far side.
That was like 40 episodes ago you told that joke, and I laughed just as hard then. And when you said that, I knew it was coming. Oh, that's good.
Did you know
I don't.
family members share a smell?
Like you reek of something?
Okra? Fried okra?
What would your family
Oh.
smell be?
What my family smell be?
Yeah.
When you talk about my family, you talking about me and my wife?
Yeah.
What would you associate with me or my wife? And you better be careful.
Trying to think. I don't know what your family smell would be. Oh, I know exactly what it is.
What?
It's Brussels sprouts. I'm a grown man. I'd never ate a Brussels sprout until I came to the Moraga home.
Well, Gina
I
doesn't
come
like a
here.
Brussels sprout.
She cooks a cauldron. She has a veritable cauldron. Gobby's wife cooks buttered Brussels sprouts.
She loves them. I like Brussels sprouts.
They're great.
She also likes asparagus,
They're
which
high
I do
in
not like.
phosphates. I didn't know I was low in that. What would my smell be?
What does despair and anxiety smell like?
That's me.
This is the natural smells of any two family members are similar, according to. Please sip louder. Your coffee. I will try to cut that out.
I'll stop. I'm sorry.
You're going.
I'm enjoying a warm beverage.
I'm glad you are beverage.
Beverage.
Getting to that coffee a little late. Sounds like.
I got to drive home in a minute.
The natural snails. The natural snail. You remember that big snail in the Never-Ending Story?
Yes.
That rascal was riding him. It was like a speed snail.
Speed snail? Speedy?
Oh, the Never-Ending Story. I loved that movie when it came out. Though that wolf terrified me.
Oh, that wolf terrified everybody. The dog that he rode.
Falkor?
Yeah, that freaked me out.
That was a luck dragon, not a dog.
Whatever it was called, that was a freakish looking animal. It bothered me.
Talk about Falkor that way.
It bothered me greatly. And the fact that it's called The Never Ending Story and it ended. Like
they come out with like parts 3 and 4.
That's not never ending.
They may come out with a new one. You don't know.
Just keep going. That's not good. Falkor.
Oh, Falkor. Do you know why you have red eye in pictures?
Red eye in pictures at the Flash, isn't it?
Well, what is that? What causes you to have red eyes?
Red eyes. That's the exposure of something, isn't it?
Or it's the exposure of your blood.
Oh.
It says when the flash of a camera goes off, the eye isn't prepared for the sudden influx of light and the pupil doesn't have time to restrict. You're likely using flash and dark lighting, so your eyes have dilated to adjust to the dark room when the flash goes off and the photo is taken. Your eyes are still dilated, so the light reflects off of the red blood vessels of the choroid. So it's literally your blood.
That's weird.
Your eyes are blood red.
Bloodshot.
Every day.
Every way. I don't know. That's not that interesting. But it is something that I worry about because they have that red eye feature that basically removes the red from the pictures. So they're removing your blood.
Yes.
I'm going back to my coffee. Is that all the fun facts that you have?
No, this is the last one.
Oh, that was it?
The FBI once investigated a song for 2 years.
What song was it? Was it a song by Cats?
No. Let me see if I can find it on here.
What song did they investigate?
Well, I will tell you here
Something
shortly.
By Chicago. You can't play it because we'll get copyright.
I can't. I think they're all dead. Does that count?
Chicago is?
No.
No.
Do you remember this song goes, oh, yeah.
They couldn't figure out what it was saying?
It said they investigated that for years.
They thought it meant something?
And they could not ever figure it out.
I still can't figure it out. What is it about? What's it about?
I'm reading to you from this. That's what they said.
But no, what was the song about?
The FBI gave up.
They don't know?
They don't know.
How'd you like to be that guy?
The FBI stepped in.
How'd you like to be that guy?
It said they spent more than 2 years putting the tune through various auto tests, and despite producing a 120-page report, the feds merely concluded the song is unintelligible at any speed.
What was the song called?
Louie Louie.
Louie Louie. So you imagine being that agent, like, all right, Bob, we know you've been working on that Louie Louie song for 2 years. It's time to give up. We're going to move you on to the, have you ever heard of Creedence Clearwater? We don't understand half of what they're saying, but you got to figure it out.
Well, and then when he gets to retirement age, here comes Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Oh,
that's when he retired, finally. Yeah, he had to give up.
Oh, Louie Louie's back.
I'll track him down one of these days. Catatonic. That would be a good band. Catatonic.
Oh, my God. You really just have been thinking about that.
That was a good one. Like Sleepy Cats. Good. Keep going. Keep going.
No, that was it.
You
wanted me to stop.
That's all the banter.
You wanted me to stop right there.
Peeked at the banter.
Well, I do have one more thing.
Give me one more thing.
Did you know the first use of OMG, which is what?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Here my God. Gears beams.
Yeah, that's one's.
Was in a letter to Winston Churchill.
Who said any of that?
He got OMG'd in 1917.
1917?
Yes.
It's probably, the French sent him a letter. Oh my God, we're losing the lines. What did they?
Oh my God, we're losing.
What did they say? We need
They're
backup.
dripping beams.
That's way too funny.
Lord Fisher,
Lord Fisher.
an admiral and naval innovator. He was big into belly buttons.
Naval. Do you like innies or outies? That's personal, sir. I'm an innovator.
He wrote to the British Prime Minister and was obviously excited about a possible honor for himself and those in his line of work. He wrote, and I quote, "I hear a new order of knights is on the..." I don't know this word. Tapis? T-A-P-I-S? Tapis?
Tapist?
He said, "I hear a new order of knights is on the tapis. OMG. Parentheses, oh my God. Shower it on the Admiralty."
So he wrote OMG.
He wrote OMG. And then
he,
apparently in parentheses, put oh my God.
Oh, he was so close to
What if he put
greatness.
oh my goods?
Oh my goods.
And that's the origin of Alexander Pfister.
Could have been.
So yeah, OMG, not new.
Wow, 1917.
It's not even new now with the kids.
Oscar-winning film. So let's move on to the topic of, not the topic, but the game we're going to review. The topic of Xia and
Legends of a Drift System.
Forbidden Stars.
Forbidden Stars.
It's just Forbidden
Too
Stars.
sci-fi.
Yes, too sci-fi. We've been killing it with sci-fi here lately.
I like
We
sci-fi.
like the nice bit of where we talked about sci-fi a few episodes ago. Then we talked about history. Then we talked about sci-fi. We're going to have to go back to history next one, I guess. Maybe.
No.
We're kind of anti-history.
Nothing controversial.
Okay, well, that kind of took the
We
wind
just
out
like
of
to
me.
have fun here.
We do like to have fun. And Xia is a great deal of fun, and it's a
Mostly
game.
water. Don't worry about it.
It's a game. Yeah, what are you drinking on? Is that Proper 12?
Proper 12, of course.
That's just become. They should sponsor us.
They really
That
should.
McGregor guy needs
If
to get
Ewan
on the ball.
McGregor just knew who we were.
Is Ewan McGregor? Isn't he Star Wars? Is he the
Well,
Obi-Wan?
hello there.
Is that Obi-Wan? Who's that? That's Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
But McGregor's also the fighter.
Spike McGregor.
I don't know that. I don't know MMA.
I don't know either.
I made a hellaciously funny joke regarding the MMA one time that I cannot repeat because it would cause shame to my country. Anyways, the game Xia was recommended to us by a listener. I can't remember. Was it Christian? Was it the Soul Trains that recommended us?
Legends of Tokyo Drift System.
Yes, was recommended after we played Western Legends.
Soul Train. He was big on Xia, yes.
Right. So we played Western Legends, which is a sandbox Western game that we truly enjoyed. And he recommended that we should buy Xia, which is very frustrating because I already had a game and then I had to go out and find Xia. And if I buy Xia, then I have to buy the expansion.
Yes.
So I spent a lot of money and time tracking down
And we were
Xia.
talking about pick up and deliver style
It's
games.
pick up and deliver. Now, everybody knows I don't like dice placement games, but there is one game type of mechanic that we both truly dislike. It's
Pick up and deliver.
pick up and deliver. We don't like picking up what you're putting down, and we don't like taking it places for you.
I was thinking about the word deliver.
We're not your mother. Taking the liver out of somebody,
Deliver. So you would deliver someone.
deliver this person. The liver is high in vitamins. That's why a lot of people eat the liver. Not human liver.
Eat deliver?
Yes. Is it delivery? No, it's DiGiorno. Get it? This podcast brought to you by Stuffed Crust, 3-meat DiGiorno.
I wish we had a sponsor.
We don't have a sponsor, and we don't need a sponsor.
We don't want a sponsor.
Because we would have lost them all last
we would
episode.
we'd have to shut everything down.
Shut it down.
We like being on the edge.
We like being on the cutting edge.
Living on the edge like Aerosmith.
Yes. Just like Gillette razors. Anyways, Xia. We picked it up. We played
Don't
it.
Mach 3 me.
What? Oh, yeah. We played it.
Oh, if Joaquin Phoenix had a brother,
Mm-hmm.
I think his name would be Mocking Phoenix. He just repeats everything you say in a disdainful manner. He's mocking you.
I get it.
That's
I
Joaquin
do,
Phoenix.
I do get it.
Just call me Joaquin Phoenix. Or Rocking Phoenix. He just always throwing up the rock symbol with his hands. Yeah! Good night, Eastern Oklahoma.
Good night, Phoenix. What if he was
Good
playing in
night, Phoenix.
Arizona? Wouldn't that be weird? Oh, okay. Now that you're done with that mediocre stand-up, You're not the next Kyle Dunnigan, that's for sure.
Or Shocking Phoenix.
Shocking Phoenix. So in Xia, a game.
We're going to board games.
This is a board game podcast, mind you.
Oh, that's right.
This Xia is interesting.
That's a weird name to start off with. Xia. X-I-A.
Why? Is it just Xia?
Xia.
Xia? Zia?
I've always heard it Xia.
Zima.
Like, that's something interesting. Like
a non-alcoholic board game.
It's called Xia. Everybody calls it Xia, and we have just accepted that without question.
Who's questioned it? Nobody.
Nobody's questioned it.
Have you questioned it?
I think it should be called Xia.
But you're doing it now, so you're questioning it.
I'm a revolutionary.
Henceforth, the game shall be referred to as Xia.
Xia.
A form of skin disease.
Not to be confused with eczema.
Eczema. So an eczema.
Eczema.
What is it? What's the actual title of the game? Is
Xia Legends of a Drift System.
Yes.
Tokyo Drift.
Eczema.
Legends of a Tokyo Drift System.
Legendary system of itchiness. This game is basically a pick up and deliver game / sandbox / adventure game / exploration. There's a lot of slashes in it. You get a lot of that when you have eczema. In this game, you start off.
Do you have eczema?
I have a weird skin disease. It's like exfoliating keratolysis. You notice my left hand a lot of times.
I have noticed your left
you
hand.
haven't noticed in particular my bad hand, my left hand, where it often peels and is bright red. I literally have a red left hand. I wish it was my red right hand.
Like a claw.
Because then I would be like Peaky Blinders. But yeah, it peels chronically. It chronically peels. So but it tends to worsen when I'm stressed. So if I'm very much stressed out, like the next day, the skin off my hand peels off and my hand becomes very sensitive, my left hand.
You're shedding your skin like a snake.
I'm shedding my skin. And so literally I can peel my skin off my hand.
Interesting.
A lot of times. So
that's anxiety.
That's why I have to moisten and stay moisturized.
So if we were to export that skin, it would literally be an export of anxiety.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
What is this skin? Well, Jerry got anxious the other day and he started shedding his skin.
That's how you know I'm in uncomfortable. So if you ever meet me and you go to shake my hand and my skin comes off, you know you're making me nervous.
He's nervous.
That's what I do. I spit and I shed. You're making me anxious. And I let off this weird smell of anxiety. In Xia, you have your own player board where you
anxiety
and anxiety, and part of the anxiety is outfitting your ship.
That is true.
You have this little ship and this little Tetramino type puzzle for where you're putting out mods, and these mods modify your weapons, your engines, your shields, and various other things on your ship. What does your ship do? Well, your ship can go out and explore, which is actually one of the neatest parts of the game. You have these big hexagonal tiles, similar to Eclipse, but much more colorful, that as you go out to explore, you find different planets and asteroids and various other parts of space. And you go and buy goods from these planets and take them to other planets and sell those goods for money and for victory points. And after you get enough money, you can upgrade your ship and buy a new ship or buy more mods. Or you can take jobs and missions, and some of these missions are legal, which generally tend to be taking things from point A to point B or attacking other players.
If you were to take these missions on your computer at night, would they be nocturnal missions?
And keeping with the great tone that we have with this podcast, one of great and of great dignity, I will go on and explain some of the finer points of anxiety, the Legends of the Drift System. So what makes this game interesting and why it might appeal to some of our listeners is that it very much encapsulates what an exploration game should be. It's adventurous. You have to control your ship through the system of arming your mods, which basically your ship has these few tokens that are arming. They're not arming pins, but they're things that you use to fire off your engines and your weapons. And when you fire off your engines, on your engines it depicts what type of die you roll, a D6, a D8, D12, whatever it might be. And you move that many spaces, so it is deceptively a roll and move. But you can kind of negate that with the quality of engines that you have. So on your turn, you're just moving these little pins, these little these little cubes over and firing off the various systems in your ships. And then after your turn is over, you're using the stored energy of your ship to rearm them. The problem is, like what happened to me, is that at the beginning of the game, you can travel throughout the universe and travel very far out and run out of energy and not be able to arm your engines anymore. And now you're having to run off impulse and barely move along and have to rely on the goodwill and nature of one Enrique to come and save you, which, interestingly enough, is worth a victory point to him, because this is the game of victory points, to become a legend and to race to either 10, 15, or 20 victory points. So not only exploring is very interesting in this game, but also what you can do. You can become illegal, or not illegal, it's not like you become a bandit. You can become an outlaw. You can become a pirateer type person and go out and attack merchants and sneak into planets and take illegal missions and go about your illegal ways. And as you're doing so, you gain a bounty, and other players, if they come blow up your ship, they collect that bounty. You can also become a merchant by traveling to various planets, buying the goods that they make and selling them to planets that want them. And there's, in the expansion, there's this neat little economy that takes place to where certain planets demand certain things and certain planets sell certain things. And it kind of, I highly recommend playing it with the expansion, because without the expansion, the game is not only say it's broken, but the merchant seems to be overpowered in the base game. And I've heard that complaint many times by various ones. So in Xia, it's very much a sandbox adventure game. We played it at Cabin Con, our own made-up convention. And the first time we played this game, it kind of flopped. Gambi wasn't too impressed with it. I took full responsibility for it because I didn't quite understand the game and I taught it wrong. And Enrique was kind of just...
Well, we went about playing it wrong as well.
We played it wrong.
We armed ourselves with missiles and just went after each other.
Yeah, we played a very heavy combat.
And Enrique was like blind jumping into suns.
Right. So, your thoughts on Xia?
We don't usually like pick up and deliver. We have not yet liked a pick up and deliver game, right?
Right.
Wasteland Express was like the last biggest one we discussed.
And we took a lot of flack about our hatred of Wasteland Express.
Did not enjoy it.
And we didn't really hate it. We just did not like it.
They often feel repetitive. They feel like, they just don't do much for us personally. But Xia has so much going on with it. You have your ship that you can mod, which I know you could do that with your own car or truck, whatever, in Wasteland Express. But we're partial to the sci-fi theme anyway. That might be part of it.
Remind me about that, and I'll hard merge into that here in a moment.
I probably will forget.
Okay, well, I'll remind you. Then you can remind me.
You remind me.
And then we can go on about our business.
And
that's your mission. I'm emailing you that mission.
Okay. We like the sci-fi theme.
Right.
Okay. So we like the sci-fi theme anyway over pretty much anything else, I guess, apparently from our gameplay. So we're starting off the game and we start off with these basic ships, and and this time we didn't load ourselves up with missiles to blow each other up. Jerry's like, we need to play this game. I think the way we need to play it is like start exploring. So you can get on the edge of these hexes, and you can do you have the option to explore. You can scan. So you scan, you flip over another hex, put it out there, and it's going to provide you either some sort of wasteland, a planet, an ice planet, a junkyard, all these different types of places, and it will have something that you can explore there, discover, go into, and you might could harvest some of the goods. What were those? I don't even know what the different goods were called.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Cubes. These cubes are of a different color. So in the game, it tells you this is how you get victory points. I like that. You can get victory points by delivering at least two goods of the same kind, whatever. You can get victory points by fighting. You can get victory points by turning in at least 5,000 credits. You can get victory points, this, and this. I think there's like 10 different ways you can get victory points. I don't remember for sure. So once I had grasped that, and we explored a lot in this one, and I think that made a huge difference because there were so many different things we could do. It opened it up really. It really made that sandbox feel. Jerry's over here nearly dying. He's just exploring and nearly getting beat up and freezing to death and damage and all this stuff. Enrique is nearby, so Enrique goes over there to save Jerry. Meanwhile, I'm over here doing my thing. And for a while, I was behind like several victory points. But then I just start delivering, and then I start excavating, and then just what's the main facility, the orbital thing?
In the expansion, it's the kiln.
The kiln, whatever it is. It's like the main hub. You go there, it will fix you up. So fortunately, I explored like this ice area next to it. I can go in there and explore ice. And it, if you explore so much, it just worked out where it is a race. It is pick up and deliver. So once you realize what you're doing, it's a race to get the most victory points. So at the end of the game, me and Jerry were kind of neck and neck. But I went and got these certain amount of goods. I hit these jump drive gates, whatever they're called, warp gates. I warped over to where I needed. I delivered those goods. It was very exciting to me. I was very excited when I delivered them. I said, I think I won, guys. I think I won. And it was a completely different game than the first time we played, because you can play it where you go and attack each other, but you're not going to enjoy it.
Right, and what made this game interesting to me, and why the feeling of it was so different, is that one, it was very thematic. You could choose what you wanted to do, but two, it told a story. And the story was in our game is that I went off and explored, almost died, happened to late in the game find a planet that was close to another planet that both required the same different types of resources. I made several runs back and forth, and next thing I know, I jumped from a level 1 ship to a level 3.
Well, and it was interesting because, you nearly were dead on several occasions.
Yeah, and I barely survived.
And your ship just a roll of the dice. And in this game, the dice work. They make it exciting.
Right. And Enrique, there was like an event that comes up. There's a random event where this derelict ship was found in space, and you could tug it to the kiln and repair it and take that ship. And Enrique did that. He went on that mission.
He went after that ship.
And he hauled that ship in. So me and Enrique both had these level 3 ships. There's level 1, 2, and 3. You begin with ones, and you can purchase other ships. So me and Enrique both had level 3 ships. Gabi only upgraded to level 2 and still won the game. I was very much about moving and we played a shorter version of the game. And it was just very fascinating to see that this was the first real pick up and deliver game that had that sandbox feel for us, that really told a story, and that was truly an amazing game. Like Xia is one of those games. It was when we sat down later and we ranked the games of our cabin con, wasn't it not your number one?
It was my number one.
Your number one game. It was like my number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
I was, when we were done, I was like, my God, I really enjoyed this game.
Enrique,
it was fun. It was exciting.
Enrique's not around, but I will just mark my words. This is Enrique's top 5. He was just raving about it.
Oh, he loved it.
Just thought it was great. And really, it was difficult to learn at the first because the concept of it was a little bit different. But once you get it down, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And so I was very impressed with Xia, the presentation, and they've had another reprinting of it. And so it's not as hard to... they did a last...
Since this one?
Well, yeah, they did the expansion. So
I thought we had the expansion.
We have the expansion. They did the expansion and they reprinted the base game at the same time.
Oh.
So it's not as hard to find as it used to be. So if you are into pick up and deliver games, Xia is automatically a buy. If you're into space games, and like we've talked about, TI4, on a previous podcast, we talked about how you should play it with a much bigger group and how Eclipse could be played with a smaller group, but it's more Euro. Xia, to me, shines at like a 3-player game, like a 3 to 4-player game. And it tells a story that you're invested in what the other players are doing. So it's more story-based, create your own story. And so I really like Xia.
I really wouldn't go more than 4 on Xia.
I think in terms of Xia and Western Legends, Xia is more complicated. It's more of a heavier entry and, of course, more expensive. I think that if you're looking to get your feet wet in a sandbox type game, Western Legends is the way to go. But other than that, the theme of Xia is spot on.
Yes.
We turned right around and played an old out-of-print game that is held by many. Forbidden Stars. Now, now I'll preface this with saying that we are not Warhammer 40K fans. We don't really even care about it. But I got Forbidden Stars many years ago before went super out of print, and really enjoyed the straightforward combat in it. Like, it was, for it being a game that's about space, there's nothing in it but combat. It's not about negotiating. It's not about movement. It is about fighting. And the combat is very interesting because it comes from not only both dice, but this deck that you build. Not much like a traditional deck builder, but more in terms of you have 2 copies of each one of your combat cards. You can upgrade them, swap them out, and then you're basically playing these cards for symbols that have attack, morale, and defense, but also they have a special power that if you have this active unit in the battle, it gives you this bonus. So Forbidden Stars, though, has a very complicated rule set because you're dealing with lots of little fiddly rules. Like, the combat is several pages in the rule book just to understand it.
And it's long.
Forbidden Stars is a 2 to 4 player game. I would not recommend it 4 players. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even recommend it 3 players. I think it's a 2-player combat game, 2 players going at it who both enjoy deck building and want a space-themed game that is all about moving and more tactical,
and conquering.
More tactical than it is strategy.
This is my thing I discovered over our Kevin Con weekend. We played lots of big games. Twilight Imperium 4, one of the biggest. Eclipse, not the easiest to get into. And Forbidden Stars. What pulls me out of enjoying a game is is it entry level? Is that what you call it?
Level of
whatever.
Yeah.
There are tons of rules, tons of bits, all these things you got to remember. I mean, we were 4 turns into Forbidden Stars, and I was still learning what I was doing. Same thing with Twilight Imperium 4. It's too much for me. And that takes me out of a game. I'm like, I check out. I'm like, I can't remember all this stuff. How am I supposed to remember all this stuff? And especially if it's not written down in a good player aid for me. And I'm sure I could go on BGG and download that, but I don't want to have to do that. So that's why Eclipse and Xia topped the charts for me this weekend. Eclipse has that player aid. It tells you the phases of the game and what you can do in each phase. Forbidden Stars and Twilight Imperium 4 did not do that for me. And so I checked out of those.
Right. And I think that what we have found, the more that we have played, especially playing these games back to back to back, has shown us that we've always known that we tend to like Euro games a little bit more, but we do tend to really focus on games that tell stories and that have that Ameritrash type theme. Like they have a strong theme. To me, Forbidden Stars could have been themed as anything. And since the theme of the game didn't really appeal to us, we're not into that 40K Warhammer universe, it was just another space game. Xia doesn't really have much of a theme other than it's just space. It's space, make your own story. And so these 2 games are basically, what do you make out of the theme? Well, in Forbidden Stars, it's fight. It's deck build and fight. Yeah. Roll these dice, play these cards, get to your objective. In Xia, it's you were the merchant, I was the explorer, Enrique was the junk hauler. He was going around just doing his thing and rescuing people and just being crazy.
And you can go to certain areas in Xia, and it's up to you. Do you want to just take a chance and roll this D20 and hope you mine? And if you mine, you're good to go. Or it can cause you damage. And if you get damage, are you close enough to somewhere where you can heal yourself? Like that was a calculated risk. Whereas Forbidden Desert, what is this game?
Forbidden Stars.
Forbidden Stars. It's just straight up, you're building stuff, you go out, you fight. And the fighting is good. It's got a good fight mechanic in it. It just, for me, I remember the first time we played this, it may have been the 3 of us.
It was just us 2. But we played it 3 player.
We played with Enrique. But this time for me, it fell flat. Because the entry level to it, like for Jerry to remind us how to play it, took forever. And the setup took forever. And you have to know what each ship does. You have factories, they do something different. You have cities, they do something different. You have ground troops, they do something different. To go from this planet to this planet, that does something different. You can't occupy the airspace with these.
Yeah.
You get land spaces. There's so many rules. I'm kind of over that. I like more streamlined stuff.
And so we played those 4 big space games run one after another on our little con that we had. And what we discovered was this. We knew we liked Eclipse. We did not realize. I knew I really liked it. It was been in my top 10 previously. Eclipse, of course, was a big win for Enrique and Gabi. We had not really gave Xia a fair shake. Playing it at this, we realized, yeah, we love it. Like it's probably it is our favorite pick. It's our favorite pickup and deliver.
It's good Soul Train. You chose well.
It's awesome. It's better than Western Legends, I would go to say.
Western Legends is more like Footloose and Fancy Free.
Whereas Xia is more I want to keep both of them. I'll enjoy both of them because
they're different.
They're both different enough, and I firmly believe that they both provide a different experience. But Eclipse and Xia were amazing, and the thing is, we could bust out Eclipse and Xia right now. I could teach them, remind y'all, and we could play them very easily.
Yes.
TI4 and Forbidden Stars, not so much.
No.
Matter of fact, I enjoy TI4. I'm glad we have it. I'm on the
TI Snore.
I'm on the fence about Forbidden Stars. Like, I'm on the point to where I could see myself getting rid of it.
This is my thing.
Like, it's not a great combat game for me.
No, if I want to do combat, give me a Combat Commander.
Or something of... I mean,
that's a completely different game, but I just...
The theme...
Forbidden Stars didn't do nothing for me this time.
And it was one that it's really liked by a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's sought after for 2 reasons. One, it's out of print and it will never come back because of the theme and because of the contract stuff, but also because of the people who like 40K. Like, they love it and they just love it. And so it's just one of those games. It'll be out of print. It'll always be out of print. And because of its scarcity, people really like it.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that in the realm of the 4 big space games that we played, I will leave this thought with y'all. Eclipse, of course, is board game snobs approved.
Yes.
If you can get your hands on the 2nd edition, by all means, or even the regular 1st edition, it's a great Euro space game.
Or the 3rd edition.
Whenever it comes out. We're thinking 2025, baby. Xia, great game. Even if you don't like pick-up deliver games, if you want a sandbox game with tons of theme and you like stories, then Xia.
Yes.
Board game snobs approved. Probably Enrique's top 5 games.
BGSA.
TI4, I don't think it's in my top 10. I don't think it's in Gabi's top 10. I don't think it's in any of ours top 10. But it's certainly a game that if you have the right group, it is awesome. It will be awesome.
5 to 6 players.
5 to 6 players.
A must.
Forbidden Stars, I think that only applies to 40K fans and those that really like that really niche type of game that has a heavier rule set, combat, deck building. It's just the entry to it is just a little higher than most, and I just don't think it appeals to that many people. And quite honestly,
so many icons.
I can't even stand it sometimes. But yeah, it's a good game. It's mechanically sound. It's interesting, but it's not for us, and I don't think that it's blanketly would be for everybody. So with that being said, I think that Eclipse comes out for me as probably being my favorite space game, followed very, 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 very closely by Xia.
And even though they are completely different games.
Yes.
Well, with that in mind, as of this moment, I feel Xia ahead of Eclipse. I enjoyed Xia tremendously.
I could tell you were really feeling it.
I was enjoying it.
And then although Enrique's not here, hashtag get feeling better. I think that he would say
detained by the Denison police.
We're going to start a Patreon. Our first stretch go is the bail money.
What's his bail?
I think Enrique would say that obviously Xia was his favorite.
No, he was crowing about a Xia on the way home. He was just
beside himself about Xia. And so there you go. There's your
two. I mean, again, completely different. But if you just went cold open to me, you want to play Xia or Eclipse? That's kind of interesting. Depending on time, I would choose Xia, but Eclipse. It's like I know what I'm in for. I'm going to build this engine. We're going to be done about an hour and a half. Xia, I mean, you could make that a 5-hour game if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
you could stretch it out with a lot of players.
Yeah.
I just really feel like Xia, it's based on the player's enjoyment. Like if people are the type to derive stories from games and enjoy, like in Eclipse, I don't care what you're doing. Like I don't pay attention to what you're doing at all.
Right.
In Xia,
Unless I'm coming at you, bro.
Yeah, in Xia, it was one of those, I was invested in what everybody was doing. It cracked me up to see Enrique hauling this tub ship across space.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. In Eclipse, like in a 3-player game,
It's a glamorous game.
Yeah, or game. Just those, the aliens kept coming out and we just kept battling them.
Yeah.
I don't think in a 3-player game we ever battled each other.
No, very rarely.
So it didn't happen. So a player count probably matters in Eclipse as well, but still yet it's good because even you're still building your space empire and fighting these aliens. The more you fight those aliens, the more points you get.
Yeah, in Eclipse.
Jerry defeated that. In Eclipse. Xia, it can be interactive.
But
And it can also not be. Like
choose to
I
be.
kind of did my own thing, whereas you and Enrique interacted more.
Yeah.
But you were like shooting this ship of his, and I was just in this corner of the galaxy, just like I was literally just harvesting, excavating, delivering those things, fighting these ice things and comets, and it was. Xia's good,
But it was
Xia's
there was
good.
moments in the game that
And
were
the little models, the components, the little comets, the little ice comets.
That's really awesome.
It's really good.
The moments in Xia where I explained to Enrique, you can scan a sector before jumping into it, or you can just blindly jump. I do not suggest that you should blindly jump because Enrique, you see this big stack of tiles?
You can.
There's a sun in here.
There's one sun.
There's one sun. And when
he
you flip
found
it
it.
out, if you jump into it, you will die. And he's like, and is one in that big stack? I said, yes. He says, well, I'll just blind jump. And then what did he jump into? But the sun.
The sun.
And
He found it.
That was hilarious.
Successful. You found the
You
sun.
found the sun. And that was a moment to where now I'm like going back and like, I don't know what happens when your ship just dies.
But I do like the fact that you just restart, right?
Yeah, you just restart.
With
you have
a
a penalty,
basic
you have a
ship.
penalty and you restart.
Yeah.
But still, it was just one of those games that when I played it, it was fun. But I think it's conditional. It's based on the players and what they get out of that game and the story they want to tell. Whereas Eclipse is just old reliable.
I would almost say Xia, like Wasteland Express, is probably nearly the same game.
No, but go ahead. Wasteland Express.
But you can in Wasteland Express, you can modify your truck.
You can, yes.
In this one, you can modify your ship.
Correct.
In Wasteland Express, you could fight raiders.
You can.
In this one, you could fight raiders as well.
Well, yeah, you fight other ships, yeah.
The harvesting is different. I don't know about harvesting, but Xia to me, just like we played Wasteland Express, we played several pick up and deliver. I can't remember the others. I'd have to look at
They
my
all
stuff.
suck.
We have been vehemently against delivery, pick up and delivery up until this point.
Get a job at FedEx. If you want to pick up, deliver. You go look at those people who work for Amazon, work for UPS. Do you think
They're
they
depressed.
they don't want to play pick
They're
up and
sad.
deliver?
I'm a pick up and delivery person. I drive a truck for a living. I go and pick up rock and I deliver it, and I'm sad the whole time.
Why do you want to? Like, yes. How do you feel about being?
It's depressing.
Somebody makes a game about what you do every day, and then they pretend like it's
Exactly.
fun. What are you
No,
playing?
it's not.
I'm playing IRS.
You know what I do?
auditing people.
I spend most of my time listening to the radio,
Right,
wishing I was doing something else.
right.
But in this game, I'm in space. And I've got this awesome ship.
With
and
your
I'm-
e-missions.
And I'm with my electronic missions. And I'm dodging these ice comets. I'm dodging these junkyard comets. There's all kinds of damage that can come my way. I'm rolling dice and hoping I don't get it. And I'm fighting other ships. It's just, Xia's great.
Xia is great.
It may be in my top 10.
I know that Eclipse in the years past has been in my top 10. Xia potentially has the same to be. And so that's kind of how I always rate a game when I play it. It's like I think to myself, could this be in my top 10? And when we've played Xia, I've soloed Xia. I don't prefer it solo, but each time I've messed with it, I've thought to myself, this is my favorite pick up and deliver game. It's my favorite sandbox. This is potentially in my top 10. So
Yeah, it's good stuff.
there you go. That's what we have to say. We enjoyed Xia. Thank
That's
you,
that.
Soul Train.
He turned us on to it.
Yeah. He gave us the mission to find Xia, and we did it, and our anxiety has been high ever since.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Zoltrain. Xia's
So
Xia's good.
that's going to do it for this
Xia.
episode. Or Xia.
Xia.
We'll
Xia.
change the name to Xia.
I couldn't remember how you
Tell
say
me
it.
how to say it.
I gotta go.
You do.
I
What
do.
time is it?
It's
Oh,
time.
it's late.
Oh, it's late.
Daddy, where are you? I miss you, Daddy.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We thank you all for being a part.
podcasting. Leave me alone.
Terrible.
This is Gabi.
Jerry!
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.